Okay, for the take-home part, you're going to click on Practice Test. This is Unit 2. And here's the take-home part. So you can open that up, print that out, so you can have it with you. And the data set's right here. I probably should have made you type it in, but I didn't this time. But you ought to be able to type in. It's just 21 lines of data. So it should open it up in Statcrunch. In order, though, for you to be able to analyze the data, you're going to have to click Sign In. You should be used to this by now. And then sign in using your username and password from your MyMathLab account. And now you can actually analyze it. Okay, so I've pulled in a different data set. I don't want to actually do the take-home test for you, but I pulled in a different data set just to show you how you can do a regression on Statcrunch. So, I mean, I think you can figure this out if you just played with it. You just click Stat, and then go down to Regression. And all we've talked about is just a simple linear regression. So click on that. Determine which one's going to be your X variable, which one's going to be your Y variable. These values here may not make any sense. I think they're the same data, but hopefully it'll come out to where you can get it. So you want to think about which one is the explanatory variable, which one's a response variable. Click Next. And at this point, we're not going to worry about any of these things in here. So just click Next. If you want to do the residual plot, you probably want to plot the fitted line in here. We don't have to worry about this. But let's do a residual plot versus the X. Remember, that's what we do on the TI, so that's what we're going to do on Statcrunch. So click Next and Calculate. And so it gives us a lot of information, a little more information than we want, right? So we're going to focus up here. So here's our equation for this particular one. Again, this is not the data set that I gave you, but here's the equation written in in English, which I like. So you can actually just take, copy, and paste that one equation there if you want. So we would take that, actually just this line right here, right? So there's my equation. And you can copy it and paste it into a Word document, or you can retype it. If that copy paste doesn't work, you can still retype, right? Gives you the R value, gives you the R squared, and sample size. That's really all we need to know from here, right? And you ought to, although I don't state specifically, I don't think in the report, you need to be interpreting this. This is sort of a report, right? It should be 1 to 2 pages typed out. Include some graphs. If I click Next here at the bottom, you may not be able to see that. So if I click Next, here is my scatter plot for this particular data set. I can click Next again, and there's my residual plot. And here's the zero line right here, right? I wish they would kind of put a line there. They don't, but a line right there. So there's the residual plot. And that should tell us something about the appropriateness of using a linear model. Okay? We've talked a lot about that in class. So comment on that. In a sense, you could cheat in the way that you could use the types of questions that I've asked you to do with regression questions on the concept workshops, the one question summary, and the practice test as kind of a guide on what sort of things I'm expecting you to put in there. You could also put in things that we've done previously. You can look at the mean, the standard deviation of both data sets. You can comment on the countries, on outliers, things like that. So I'll be looking for stuff like that. Anything sort of extra you put in there, I may roll over as extra credit. I'm not really sure yet. So make sure they're done well. Scatterplots, I would recommend that you go ahead and size it here. Notice how it sort of has a nice reset there. So that's good enough right there. And just do a copy and then paste it right into Word. Okay. Don't resize it afterwards; it gets kind of grainy. So you want these to look pretty good.